And welcome back, folks. This is Starnold with another Tier 6 skirmish video for your liking. We're going to jump right in. And so our first battle of the night, and we're faced with H2H. We're currently, as of the filming of this, we were ranked in the 70s in Tier 6 skirmishes, and H2H ranked in the 20s. A few weeks ago, actually, they were in almost top 10. Josh is the caller over there. I've skirmed with them. They're a good team. In this particular case, Slappy just finished just this evening legionnaring with them, and he tells me that they like to do the strat that you're going to see them do. Regardless of that, I was going to send my T-37s to the hill to try to get shots down, and my 35-85s down where you're seeing us going, and we are going to push through to take this little area at E6, make sure we control that. So my hope is that the T-37s are going to be able to be up there in the B7 area and shoot down on their tanks, while we're able to either flank or face on this other group of tanks. And I split us up a little bit here. I'm going to send myself and one other tank on this side with the VK-3001 trailing, and two other tanks could try to flank them. They find that Type 64, so they're going to battle that. Well, we're battling in the front here. So you see Josh peels off one of his 34-85s to try to help out and save his Type 64. I think that fails miserably. Slappy ends up killing him from a distance, actually. They push a little aggressively into us here. They took a lot of damage for it. I try to get an arty shot off. I don't think it does a whole lot of damage. Alien's done a lot of work already. He's taken a lot of damage for it, so he's really beat up. I try to get him to fall back and just help out when needed, but he lands a couple of shots here anyways. I poked out on the crown wall, took a couple of hits for that. Meanwhile, our T-37s are still getting shots in. Alien takes out the crown wall, and now we can push on this 30-45. And my two tanks in the back are still doing their little push in the flank, so we're winning this handily. I was very proud of this and how well the guys performed. Really expected a little better out of H2H, although you can't see it in my replay here, but they did have quite a few legionnaires, so I won't hold it too far against them. And that was just a quick battle against them. Now we're going to see this map here. I can't remember, was it Prokhorovka? And we have our two light tanks again, the VK-3001 and the 430-45s. Now I put this one in here predominantly to show you what difference crew skills can make. So Laser Tank 00 you see in his VK-3001, we hardly ever run those. He's new to the clan, he's quite an inexperienced player. This tank is not fully upgraded, and his crew is nowhere near being trained. No Sixth Sense, no full crew skills on anything. If you notice, the 3001P is usually a fairly fast tank, and he trails us. We leave him in the dust here. He doesn't have even the top engine yet. I think later on he gets the middle engine. So here we are. We're gonna play the two light tanks. We're gonna play the middle and do some spotting, and we're gonna take up these strong positions in the bushes over here. Right away we spot their Cromwell, which I believe was their only really fast tank. They didn't think they had a scout. We've got the Cromwell and the Fury over there. Because they're over there, I ask our guys to push up a little further than we were initially planning. That is not going to be me, as I have the arty strike, so I'm going to stay back as far as I can go. Slappy gets tracked and takes a beating in the middle. Notice how far down his health is already. Believe it or not, he survives through till the end on that health, and he's still effective the whole time. So Touchy moves up, Coffee moves up, the VK is right behind me, and we're all in the bushes. Now we have a strong suspicion, as Slappy told us, that they were shooting at him from the 1-2 line, and that's fine, that's what we expect. Now notice the VK behind me. He's not in any bushes, and like we talked about his crew skills, he fires once and gets spotted and taken out. Focus fired. they haven't spotted any of the rest of us. So that's your crew skills right there. I was pretty much in the same spot, especially once I backed out, and they never spotted me even when I was firing. And it's almost all crew skills. Maybe a little bit of tank upgrades, but mostly crew skills. Felt a little bad right there. The rest of the night we kind of played him a little further back when we could. As many videos as I watch, it never really sinks in just how much the crew skills do affect things. Until you face one of those top 10 clans like Yujo or something, where they all have 10 crew skills on every tank. And then you're like, wow, we're outmatched. So they're sending a Cromwell down, and to me that's an isolated tank. I detailed 2 of our 3045s. One of them happens to be me because I was in the back, and we're going to go try to take care of that Cromwell because he's isolated. And we have one of our light tanks. I think this is Mini Dump down here that's going to do the spotting for us. Pretty much at this point, I want the 3485s that are on the 1-2 line to hold. Slappy's going to try to do some spotting up there in the magic bush, and we want to take out the whole purpose right here is for us to take out this Cromwell. A lot of times in these skirmishes, it's all about numbers. Whenever you have an overmatch, you try to take advantage of that. Slappy took care of the Fury. We spot the Crommy. Put a couple shots into him, and of course, that 3045 is in a really good position at E6. That's a very strong position. I got spotted by him when I fired. Now the Cromwell is going to take a beating from Mini Dump. Gets Mini Dump really low. So now they're pushing on our tanks because they think they have the numbers. They don't know about Slappy over there, and we immediately start heading back. Yeah, Slappy is well hidden in that bush. Watch. So again, crew skills. So Alien got spotted. They were right up against him, and he got spotted, and they focused him down really quickly. Slappy's still up in that bush, and look how close they get to him, and he is still not spotted. Now, from their perspective, they should know they're spotted, and they should really be playing that, and if anything, blind shooting that bush. It's a well-known bush, but they don't even do anything, so they're all spotted here and taking shots. Meanwhile, the 3 of us, Mini Dump, myself, and who else is Master Sergeant Coffee, are teeing off on them where we can. Slappy's all by himself at this point. Finally, I think it gets too irresistible for him. That P43 is getting really low health. I think the VK3001 in the back is really low health and getting away. Slappy decides he's going to shoot at the 3001P. He finishes it off. He knows he's spotted at that point, so he runs in and takes care of the Biss at the same time. He loses his life. No, he didn't lose his life for that. He survived that. So that was a good decision on his part. It worked out well. He saw the opportunity to take out at least one and maybe get some shots in on the second, which worked out. So now we have our spotters, 2 spotters, and us trailing. This 34 gets lit, and we take care of him. Sorry, the 43, which just leaves the last T-34. So mostly I wanted this video. There was no great strats here, nothing unusual. I just wanted to show the effectiveness of crew skills. I know there's a lot of videos out there for it, but you never see the effectiveness in battle as much. And now my commander's going to hate me for this. I'm going to show us a loss. Now we have 2 KV2s, an Easy 8, a couple of Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts have really strong armor. They're very bouncy. The Easy 8 and the KV2s shoot HE. They're very destroy-y, if you want to use that word. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to win this one, and I'm going to show you, where I'm going to point out the key moment as to why we lose it. So we do our little bit of what we call a standard light tank, run to the middle and come to safety to do some spotting, just so we have some information and know what's going on. The rest of us are going to park on the 1-2 line until we decide something. Okay, so we spot 1 KV2. He's over on the 789 line, so we can suspect that, I'm going to suspect at this point, a camp on the 789 line. It's not really what it ended up being, but that's my suspicion. So I send us forward, thinking they're pretty sure they're not over here, so we can advance. Now we're all well aware of the abilities of the KV-2. They can pretty much one-shot any of us. I do make sure I remind everybody. Again, I have artillery, so I make sure I'm not going to be the one out front. So Coffee's going to lead the charge. 2 corners to be careful of. He's going to come up on the first one right now. Sometimes they camp right in this little alcove here, and he doesn't see anything, so we're going to follow him up. And then the next corner to be careful of is the one he's approaching right now, to find out where everybody is. So again, with no information, we've pulled way up. I'm sending one of the scouts volunteered to go around the other way to make sure we're not going to go around or get flanked. I pre-aimed the arty. I don't really want to waste it on 30-45 when I got the KV-2s. This guy's spotted. I tried to lead him some, and you're going to see in a second that I was unsuccessful in that leading. Yeah, so now he's lit again, and I turn the camera, and you can see he took no damage. So that was a totally unsuccessful arty strike. And now they've got positions on us, and I get a little over aggressive. I decide the only way I'm going to be able to shoot this 30-45 is if I get up against the wall here. I take a beating for it. The Thunderbolt's shooting me. He's shooting me. He does a really good job here of side scraping. I do not do as well a job of side scraping. We trade some shots, but in the skirmishes, trading is not a good thing. You really want to look for the numbers in the overmatches. So we see the Cromwell. It's in what, EF3. I send my tanks that are in the D2 area to go get him. He's isolated. My T-37 is going to help out. And meanwhile, we're kind of fighting a holding action here. I totally miss on the map that the EZ-8's coming up, and I'm in a really bad position here. So our other tanks, I get dead. We'll play with the camera a bit here, but our other tanks isolate out that Cromwell and immediately start heading back because we're in trouble now. We have 2 tanks in this at the cap area, and they're fighting 4 tanks, and the KV-2s aren't even there yet. Well, one of them is there yet. So I want them to go hunt down that trailing KV-2. Hope they can catch it out. And we're just losing tanks left and right. And this is a critical moment right here. These tanks should go flank. They should keep going straight and go around the back side, right? And instead, we kind of panicked a little bit. We saw we lost that last guy holding out here. And because of the panic, we all turned into this little hidey hole. And I want to give credit to the opponents here. These KV-2s alternate their fire like pros. They weren't even in the same clan. One of them's a Legionnaire. One's in this SLR-MX clan. It's like every other poke, and then they hide, then the other one pokes, and each time they poke, they take somebody out. It was well played on their part, but honestly, we're the ones that made the bad mistake. We should not have come down this alley. We should have left our one tank there fighting him, hope that he lived, and our other guys should have flanked them. That's why you play medium tanks. You play medium tanks to have that ability to flank. So we kind of blew it right there. And we identified that right at the time. We looked at that replay later, or didn't even look at the replay. We talked about it right afterwards, and we knew we should have flanked there. And also, we probably shouldn't have pushed into the... we didn't push into the KV-2s. Okay, here we are again. And we're going to send our light tanks, one to the middle, one to the flank, and our 30-45s are going to, for now, hold on the B78 area. And this is, I'm going to show you we're going to count tanks here as we play this game, and the importance of pushing. Things work out well for us, but we do I consider a really poor push. It did work out, but I still consider it a pretty poor push. So we're going to take up pretty defensive positions for now. They have 3 really fast tanks, the Cromwells plus the Type 64, And they've got some heavier mediums, the 40 TP and the 230 485s. We spot one of the Croms right off. We're not going to go after him yet. And I got my two T-37s. I'm seeing one of the Cromwells over here. Yeah, I decide, you see me clicking. I'm going to send that one T-37. I think that's mini dump to get a little closer to their base and see, make sure nothing's over there. I think Slappy tells him the Type 64 is in the middle with him. And this Cromwell here is really annoying to me. He's in a really good position, and in my head, he's preventing us from pushing. Were I to make the decision to push, he's preventing me from pushing into that little area there, because he's going to have shots on all of us if we push in there. I get spotted, and like an idiot, I stay in the same spot, and what happens then? You get RD'd. So this is one of quite a few bad plays on my part we're going to see in the next couple. So now I've got one of the light tanks came back with me, or with us. One's still off in the distance, kind of scouting. And I try to find something to launch RD, and I try to blind shot that Cromwell, like another ineffective RD strike. Okay, now 230 485s in the back get lit. And they're coming up to join the fight. I think we've taken a lot more damage than we should have at this point. I don't think we've given as much. But it's still fairly close. It's nothing to really complain about at this point. So now Slappy's pulling up. He spots a Type 64, and he must get spotted at the same time. Those 230 485s start heading for him. So now let's count the tanks. We got those three fighting against Slappy and Mini, the two T-37s. So we have numbers. So I call for a push. And this is where I have the failed push here. So I'm pushing forward. Coffee comes with me. You saw one tank already turned around going the other way. And Touchy stays up on the hill sniping. Now, in fairness to Touchy, he's getting shots on those 230 485s, which makes a big difference. And the VK-3001 didn't push at all. So I got in there and died. Coffee does some work. Wouldn't be surprised. I don't remember if he dies or not. Alien finally pulls up. He's going to finally help out. But because we pushed in the way we did, we weren't all as a big group. I died. Now Coffee dies. Alien's in pretty good shape here, but he's still facing two tanks kind of alone. The VK, he gets ammo racked. The VK finally is in there, and Touchy's pulling up because he no longer had shots on the 30-45. Now the good news here is that both Touchy and the VK, laser tank there, were in good health positions, so they were able to take these tanks on without getting too much more damage on themselves. Meanwhile, our light tanks were doing a number on those 30-45s, which was nice to see. They would face the Type 64 and the 230-485s that were well softened up by Touchy, I might add. But they managed to take out the Type and one of the 30-45s and get this other one to a point where he was low health. And then it's just a matter of chasing him down. But mostly I wanted to show how that failed push. When you push, you need to all go together. The idea was we had numbers, so if we push in on numbers, they can focus fire you, but we have numbers, so they're only going to take out one of the 4 or 5 tanks. The way we did it, they focused down on me, then they focused down on Coffee, and they took a beating doing it, but they were able to eliminate tanks that they would not have been able to eliminate had we all pushed together. So laser tank being not fully upgraded and with a poor crew, I set back to snipe because we didn't know where this guy was going to be. And I'll trust Touchy in a one-on-one against any 30-45 pretty much. So yeah, he gets in here, and meanwhile the laser's pulling up, and the 30-45 doesn't know he's there and drives right into him. So laser gets a shot, and then Touchy finishes him off. So guys, if you're doing any training or trying to learn, pushing as a team is important. And if you're part of that team and for some reason you're turned around and not able to push with the team, it's important to let the commander know that you're not ready, and everybody can hold off until everybody is ready. And here we are again on proc, going against a Cameo clan. And we're gonna I believe that we're going to do it a little different this time because they have that SU-100 and the EZ-8. I don't want to push into an SU-100 that's going to be camped on the 1-2 line. They do too much damage for us to do that. So I send my light tanks out to scout the ridge, fairly common. I mean, Cromwell's light tank. Somebody's got to scout the ridge, right? And I send us off to the inside of the rail line. Again, the whole idea, don't want to get in the line of sight of that SU-100. And our light tanks get up there. They spot the 2 mediums over there and 130-45 in the middle. Laser's in the lead here, again with his poor crew skills, and he's new, so I have to tell him, hold up and wait for all of us. And then we have a plan, and here's the plan. The plan is to go to the inside of these little houses here so we don't get spotted, and to jump this 30-45 who's isolated. Everybody's in on a plan, everybody's ready, and we decide to go. Now the key to this is you got to get up and over and into the dip before they take you out. We're pretty confident they're on the 1-2 line, right? We might take our shots. Hopefully they'll spread out the shots, and hopefully everybody's quick enough to get in the dip. Once you're in the dip, you're safe from those shots. So up and over we go. Okay, everybody, get in the dip, get in the dip. So here we are, we take out the tank, and I'm going to circle the camera around our VK3001. He gets tracked, and once you're tracked and stuck, he gets eliminated. Coffee was a little bit out of position. He's too high. He's not down off the ridge, so he gets eliminated. So the cost of that little play there was we lost 2 tanks to them losing 1. Now another one of my big mistakes here. I poke, I shoot, I get spotted. I try to poke again. What an idiot, right? And look at, I take 2 more shots because of it. So now I'm down personally half health. That little bit of damage can make a big difference in the end game. I don't think it does in this one, but it can. So, you know, stupid little things like that. So we still have our scouts. We don't have a bad position. We have map control, or at least half the map, so that's not too bad. They're lined up in really good positions. I would say their positions are stronger than ours at this point, especially with that SU hidden back there. And our light tanks are going to do their scouty scout thing. Would love to get rid of their light tank. And a little break in the action here. Okay, we got the Type 64. He's doing what Type 64 should do. He's scouting. My light tanks are popping up, so I'm trying to pre-aim the arty a little bit. These guys are not staying still enough, so I can't shoot them yet. But that's the Easy 8 and a 30-45. One of my guys is going to go try to support that. And I'm trying to get the arty strike. And this guy pauses for a second. I lead him, assuming he's going to continue forward. Their Type 64 gets eliminated. And the arty takes out the Easy 8. That was nice. Puts us up a tank, so now we're in a better position. And it leaves that 30-45 that's down south all by himself. I make the call for us to leave those guys alone, and we're all going to come push this 30-45. Again, he's isolated, so we can take him out. We have the numbers, right? Touchy takes a little bit of a pause there. It's okay, he's waiting for me to catch up to him. You'll see Alien stays back there. He's had some other plan where he was going to light the tanks on the 1-2 line for us. Unfortunately, because we were moving, we're not aimed in on that position, so lighting those weren't going to help us at all. You see Alien moves up. He's on his own. That's very dangerous. If they decide to push him, they're going to take him out. I get in a good sniping position here. Mini gets a little risky, and you're going to see how horrible my shooting is. At that point, I should have been shooting the other tank because he was lower health. Bounce my shots because I'm not shooting gold. Touchy goes cruising on by me. We lost Mini because I was aiming at the wrong tank and bouncing shells. I back up into the line of fire of the SU, which I knew was there, so I should have known better. Use that rock to protect me from him and just keep getting shots where I can get shots. And that guy's pretty much done. So, and meanwhile, Alien's been doing okay over there by himself. He hasn't been overexposing himself. He's been kind of keeping those other tanks in line. He was smart enough to know that we didn't have line of fire. We were looking at the other tanks, so he didn't unnecessarily expose himself. So even if I would have liked him up there with us, he did okay playing down there on his own. So now we still have our light tank. We're hoping for spots. I have a nice little rock here to get cover behind. Don't really have a bush to hide me, but I would have been a better position This guy, the SU gets lit. A little bit to my right behind the houses would have been a little better of a position. But this wasn't horrible. And now they're both lit. And that's their last two tanks. Aliens should be moving up by now. Why this horrible shooting of mine? Miss, miss, miss. Don't even watch how many times. We're not going to talk about how many times I miss this thing because I'm slow on the trigger. I'd have been better off taking non-fully aimed shots than trying to do what I did there. Finally, the SU dies. Again, we're still in really good shape here. We can just push in on this guy, but I'm sniping and failing. Slappy moves in a little. I take one last shot, and I should be moving in now. Aliens up there. That's pretty much the end of that. And I got one more battle to show you. This one was more of a demonstration of how poorly I played than it was anything else, but quick little auto aim. I can't go wrong now. Pop over the hill and fire, and then Slappy finishes him off. And last battle of the night. This is going to be a demonstration of how not to camp. So not us, we identify it. In this particular case, I'm going to do something odd here. Two T-37s to the Abbey, that's not so unusual. I actually send the 3045 in with them because they have the two Cromwells. I don't want to face the two Cromwells on their own. I want them to have some backup, so I send one of the other tanks, one of the 3045s in with him. And you saw the strat, or me clicking. We're going to go as far as the, what is that, G12, before we decide whether to go further. So, on this map, Abbey, if you're going to camp, probably the most effective place to camp is the BC23 area, some variation of that. So we spot the VK3001 still in the base. We see the M6 totally camping. At this point, I'm like, really? You're going to camp there? Oh, you guys are in trouble. So we see them camping there, and I'm just going to tell the guys, okay, we're going to move up, and we're going to take them out in that spot. There's a couple corners to be careful of when we get to them. I don't want to be in the lead because I have the arty. So I pause here and let somebody else go in the lead. Really would like to shoot that M6 with the arty. So again, so now we've seen 3 of their tanks in cap. Thank you for our light tanks, which tells us that they have a cap defense, a camp going on. But again, they are in the wrong place. It's too open up there, and everybody from the sniper loft at BC12 can get shots on them. So we just have to take that area. I don't get the lights I want here. I spent too long. I'm falling behind the rest of the group, so we just have 3 tanks attacking that sniper loft. They spot a Cromwell. I don't want to waste the arty on the on just a Cromwell. Figuring we can take him if he's there alone. Hoping my light tank gets a spot on this M6. He doesn't. I give up on the arty, and I'm going to go help my teammates. And on his own, and seeing that they don't have a well, we lost a guy to their arty strike there. On his own, and seeing that they don't control the sniper loft, I think Coffee starts crossing here. I see this VK coming up. Now I see a good opportunity for an arty strike, and we're going to launch it on him. I need to control this area. And the arty strike takes out the VK, and our guys take out the Cromwell, so now we own the sniper area. And we got Coffee crossing. He's going to get lights on them once he can proxy spot them once he gets in tight enough. And I got two light tanks that are going to be sniping from the Abbey itself. Touchy's all set up to shoot through the bushes without being in the bushes. Very difficult for them to spot him then. The M6 gets shot up. Now I make another mistake here. I get spotted right there, and being fully spotted and going out here Going out here wouldn't have been bad, but once I got spotted, I should definitely not have gone. You see, I took 4 shots because I did that. We're up by 2 tanks though, so it doesn't hurt us too much. And our guys are just cleaning up here. They're all lit up, and from the sniper's perch, just taking them out a little bit at a time. Light tanks are moving up to get a little better spots. Like we said, there's very little cover up there. Once they're spotted, the trick is to get them spotted. So if you can get them spotted, you can shoot them all day long. And that was the extent of that. I just wanted to show how not to play a defense of that side for everybody's perspective. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed these episodes. This is my favorite mode of the game, and I like to share it with everybody. I hope you've learned something. I hope you can take that to your own skirmishes in any time you're not skirmishing against us anyways. Again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you feel you'd like to.